Navalny rose to international attention by campaigning against corruption in Russia and against Vladimir Putin's government. His attempt to contest the 2018 presidential election was blocked over a previous conviction on embezzlement charges he has consistently denied. In August last year, Navalny became violently ill during a domestic flight to Moscow. He was evacuated to Germany for treatment, where authorities determined he had been poisoned with the nerve agent Novichok. He was released from hospital a month later. Investigative journalists have unearthed evidence linking Russian intelligence operatives with the poisoning, as well as suggesting they may have been shadowing Navalny for years. Putin himself denied any involvement in the poisoning at a press conference in December, but as usual did not say Navalny's name, instead calling him the German patient. Yesterday, Navalny flew home to Moscow for the first time since the poisoning and was immediately taken into custody. Michael McFall, can I first ask you just to reflect on the sheer bravery of Alexei Navalny's decision to go home to Russia?
Well, as you just said, incredible bravery. Remember for your viewers that he was poisoned by the regime. Assassination attempt, he barely survived. He then tricked one of his own assassins to admit it in a telephone conversation that he had with them. And then he chose to go back. And, you know, in his view, he has no choice. He has to go back to fight against what he considers a criminal regime in Russia.
But as you say, Alexei Navalny had a choice to go back to Russia. But as a strong man, did Vladimir Putin have a choice other than to arrest him?
Well, I think Putin hoped that he was just going to stay in Germany and live in exile and try to influence affairs from there inside Russia. Navalny chose not to do that. My own reading of the situation is you are very much a weak leader if you need to divert a plane, arrest him for 30 days without really understanding what the charges are. Those are all signs of weakness. If Putin were as popular as everybody claims he is, he could be ignoring this. You know, he calls him a blogger, a so-called blogger. He never calls him by name. But the fact that he was so paranoid that he diverted the plane because he didn't want Navalny's followers to be there to greet him at the airport where the plane was supposed to land, and that he arrested him, I think are real signs of weakness. And I think is also a sign that he doesn't really know what to do right now. Because if he keeps him in jail for years to come, Mr. Navalny becomes a martyr. But if he releases him, of course, then Navalny is the most, I would say, effective leader against Putin in his regime, precisely because he focuses on exposing anti-corruption. And this regime is very corrupt. And that, therefore, is a real threat to Putin and his supporters.
We've got a new occupant coming into the White House in the next couple of days. What sort of changes in policy towards Russia are we likely to see from Joe Biden, who's been such a strong critic of both Russia and Vladimir Putin in particular?
You're not going to see any happy talk from President-elect Biden, soon-to-be President Biden, about just need to be friends with Putin. I actually was in their last meeting together back in 2011 in Moscow when the Vice President Biden and Prime Minister Putin, and there was no happy talk about trying to get along. Number two, President-elect Biden really understands the region well. He was the point person for the Obama administration to engage with Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, other countries in the region. That will be different than President Trump. Morality is going to be part of his foreign policy, including towards Russia. So I suspect it'll be a different policy. The hard part, of course, is even if you have those aspirations to bring about change in the behavior from an autocratic regime like Russia is not easy. Despite wanting to do that, there are very few mechanisms available to President Biden to make that happen. But will he try to do so? Much more so than President Trump. About that, I have no doubt.
Michael McFall, thanks for your time tonight.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.